Many people have been asking about what my NFL Diamond pick was last week and how it did. The answer is, it sucked. In week 5, I fell in love with the Saints plus 6 points in Kansas City. The Chiefs had scored an average of just 23 points per game, and now they were without Isaiah Pacheco and Rashee Rice. And they were facing a defense that had done well thus far in 2024. The Saints were also 7-2 against the spread the last 9 times they had been underdogs. Surely they would at least keep this game close, right? Wrong. New Orleans lost by 13-point margin, but let's be honest, it was not that close. In terms of total yardage, the Chiefs destroyed the Saints 460 to 220. One play that contributed to make this game closer was an interception near the goal line by the big fella, Callan Saunders. So in short, my pick on this game was awful. There is no other way to put it. Not all was lost in week 5 though. Every week, I provide my top 10 picks on size and totals, along with my top 16 prop bets. The first category yielded a 5-5 record, while the prop bets produced good profit via a 10-6 record. As usual, let me present in this video my 10th, 9th, 8th, and 7th most confident NFL picks on size and totals for the current week. Are you ready for this? Let's go, amigos! My 10th best NFL bet for week 6 goes to the Baltimore Ravens, laying 6.5 points against the Commanders. Both offenses are on fire. Over each team's past 3 games, Washington has scored an average of 38 points versus 35 for the Ravens. Wow! Did you know that Lamar Jackson owns a stunning 21-1 record against NFC opponents? That's an impressive trend. The biggest argument supporting this play is the very advantageous matchup between Baltimore's running game versus Washington's run defense. Right now, the Commanders allow the second highest yards per carry average, while Baltimore's ground game has been deadly. Indeed, they have rushed for over 200 yards per game thus far in 2024. That's a huge matchup to exploit for John Harbaugh and his staff. Meanwhile, the Ravens will be able to make Washington one-dimensional on offense. Why? Because Baltimore's run defense is number 1 in the league. That will force Jaden Daniels to throw a lot more often than he wished. The Commanders are sitting on a nice 4-1 record. The 4 teams they have beaten currently own a combined 6-14 record though. Both offenses are great, but the Ravens hold such a big edge in terms of the defense that I've got to side with Baltimore. Maybe Daniels will look more like a rookie on Sunday? We'll find out soon. One thing is for sure though, the Ravens won't stop piling up the points, knowing how potent Washington's offense can be. Let's go with Baltimore to win by a touchdown or more at M&T Bank Stadium. NFL best bet number 9 concerns the Pittsburgh versus Vegas matchup. In this game, I am betting the Steelers' first half money line. I like Pittsburgh in this AFC matchup, but a full game point spread of 3 did not make me feel very comfortable. It's hard to bet a team that has scored an average of 18.4 points per game as 3-point favorites on the road. For this reason, I elected to go with the Steelers' first half money line. The Raiders are a mess. Star wide receiver Davante Adams has requested to be traded, and there are rumors that some players are not happy with their head coach Antonio Pierce. Max Crosby played through a high ankle sprain last week, but the team will miss Christian Wilkins. And 3 offensive linemen are listed as questionable right now. After stunning the NFL world with a win in Baltimore, the Raiders followed up with an ugly 36-22 defeat at home against the lowly Panthers. Then they took advantage of the worst QB in the league, Deshaun Watson, before losing 34-18 in Denver last week. To me, this comes down to the fact that Pittsburgh's defense is a lot better than Vegas. The Steelers did not look very good on offense against the Cowboys last week, but things will get easier against the Raiders. The mindset is probably much better on Pittsburgh's side. After starting 3-0, they have dropped their past 2 games, and I think they get back in the winning column this week. They will get off to a fast start against a rusty Aidan O'Connell, who will make his first start in 2024. The Packers are established as 5.5-point favorites at Lambeau Field against Arizona. Which side do I prefer? NFL best bet number 8 goes to the Cardinals with the extra 5.5 points. Could Arizona go through a letdown game after such an emotional road victory in San Francisco? Well, that's possible, and honestly, that is my main source of concern regarding this bet. It's also why it's not rated higher. Outside of that, I like the Cards to cover the 5.5-point spread. The team is 2-3, but their 3 defeats occurred against strong teams. The Bills, the Lions, and also the Commanders. I am also siding with Arizona in this NFC matchup because I think they will be able to put enough points on the board to cover the spread. Green Bay's defense is okay, but it does not scare me that much. They allowed 34 points to the Eagles. They gave up 31 to the Vikings. They only surrendered 10 and 14 points to the Colts and Titans, whose offenses are not that great. Last week, against a very depleted Rams team, they allowed 19 points. The Rams still accumulated 370 total yards and went 8 for 16 on third downs. That's not reassuring. The Packers also have a good chance of putting many points on the board though. But the offense has not performed that well since Jordan Love returned from an injury. He had a horrible first half against Minnesota before staging a furious comeback attempt in the second half. Last week, they were not super impressive in Los Angeles, going 1 for 8 on third downs. And that was against a Rams defense that has allowed the 4th most points and the 4th most yards in the league. Give me the Cardinals to cover the 5.5-point spread at Lambeau Field Sunday afternoon. We have a great NFC matchup that will take place at the fabulous AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. In that game, my bet goes to the Lions minus 3 points. Jared Goff lacks mobility, so he tends to struggle when he gets pressured. When given time to scan the field, he will dissect your defense. Knowing this, who will pressure Goff in this game? The Cowboys will be without their top 2 pass rushers, Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence. Even defensive end Marshawn Kneeland has been ruled out. Linebacker Eric Kendricks has made a big impact during the first month with his new team. He is bothered by calf and shoulder injuries, so he could be on the sidelines. That would be a massive blow to this defense. Meanwhile, Detroit's offense is healthy, while their defense will get safety Brian Branch back on the field. I have read statistical reports that show that elite teams coming off their bye week tend to perform very well. In other words, they make good use of the extra time. And number 2, road favorites coming off their bye week have beaten the spread at a high clip. The Lions qualify under both cases, so I like our chances to win this bet. The icing on the cake is the revenge factor. Do you remember last year's meeting between these two squads? The Lions scored a TD with 23 seconds left to make it 2019. Instead of kicking the extra point to send the game in overtime, they decided to go for two. Offensive lineman Taylor Decker caught the pass for what appeared to be the winning play, but he was ruled an ineligible receiver. Video shows him talking to the referee before the play, so that looked like a blown call. Head coach Dan Campbell still appears upset over that game, which should add some extra motivation. I also feel like the Cowboys will play with a lot of pressure on their shoulders. After winning 16 games in a row at home, they have dropped their first 2 home games of the season. Detroit's offense was not firing on all cylinders through the first 3 games, with 18.7 points scored per game average. But they finally broke out with 42 points against Seattle, so I think they will build off that momentum. I just don't think Dallas will be able to stop them with all these missing key pieces on defense. I have this strong feeling that we're going to crush the Bookies this weekend in the NFL. Join our group of savvy sports investors who grab every week my gold package presenting my top 10 NFL picks on sides and totals. I already told you about picks number 7 to 10, but the top 6 are unveiled in a PDF file readily available for you. And if those 6 high confidence picks produce a losing record, you get your money back. So far this year, we have not had to refund people very often. So let's keep rolling, my sports betting friends. I'm Professor MJ, a 15-year university statistics teacher turned into a full-time sports handicapper. Grab the gold NFL package for week 6 by clicking the link below in the comments section.